I'm going to Kansas City. If I come, I come, I come, I come. I'm going to Kansas City.
Welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver.
Check us out every Tuesday. YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. We drop a new episode every Tuesday, and check us out most places you get your podcast. Last week, we just showed some of the best of some of the past episodes, but we're back this week, and a lot has been going on, some craziness. We live in the United States, so there's always something to talk about. But we'll begin with, of course, everyone is familiar with the shooter, and I'm not going to name him, who at the July 4th party parade in Chicago just went crazy, lost his mind, and somehow the police were able to take him alive after he killed people.
Good police skills.
Yeah.
It's just great policing.
It shows that there is some training, but then in another Midwest city, Akron, Ohio, Jalen Walker, who is black, who is stopped by the police for a traffic violation, and he's fleeing the scene. And reports have concluded that he did not have a gun. He was unarmed. Yet, somehow, for some reason, the Akron Police Department thought it was necessary to shoot him 60 times.
Well, that's how many times they hit him.
Yeah, they shot at him 90 times.
And hit him 60 times without a weapon. There's no way you can justify it. No way you can justify it. Those police officers should be,
every single one of them,
put in prison. Some of them should be tried for the death penalty. No excuse. I mean, there's no way you can justify it. They can't say they were afraid for their lives. There's nothing they can say. Nothing you could say about that.
60 times doesn't make sense.
60 times.
That's ridiculous. Even while he was on the ground. So I was having a conversation with somebody. Yeah, he had a weapon. He was black. That's what they feared for their lives. They reported, hey, there's a black man. We've got to get him. Send reinforcements. Send the SWAT team. It's a black man.
It's the black skin, and that's what police officers need the training for. They need to understand how to approach a black man. I mean, because a lot of them only see us on television or hear about, know about black people through rap culture or whatever.
That's it.
And so when they finally see a black person in person, live black person, they're terrified, they're petrified. And so the first thing they think of is grab their gun because, of course, this black man has super strength. Super speed in their mind.
And he's aggressive. Animalistic behavior.
And so there's nothing really they could do except to shoot him. Now, on the other hand, you have the shooter in Illinois who actually killed people.
He was a murderer.
They know he killed people. The police officers know that he killed people, know that he had a weapon, but they were able to somehow not shoot him 60 times.
And take him. And then before they take him to prison, they bought him some pizza or some steak or something. He enjoyed himself. But then that just goes to show that you can take people without shooting them. You don't have to choke them. You don't have to put a knee on them. You don't have to shoot them. You, with the proper skills, can apprehend someone without taking their life.
With the proper training. I don't understand what the training in Illinois those police officers had as opposed to the training in Ohio.
May have been they noticed the skin color. I mean, because Illinois, they don't have a scot-free record. Let's make no mistake. You remember a few years ago, they shot a man on the freeway. He did have a knife, but he was walking away from them. And the only difference I see is that the mass murderer was white. I mean, maybe there's another difference I don't recognize.
Yeah, I haven't seen the difference either.
I mean, that's it. But you're right. They talk about people, they've never seen black people up front. I actually met somebody who said that he had never seen any black people up close before. When I was in seminary at St. Paul, it was a guy from Nebraska. He was like, he had never seen black people up close. He had seen them from a distance. He had seen them on TV. So it was a new and different experience for him. I don't know if he was walking around smelling us to see, if all the stereotypes that he had heard were true. But there are people out there.
Yeah.
We have never seen it.
Was getting my master's, and there was a foreign lady. She was foreign. She was white. Some Eastern European country.
Okay.
And she was American now, but she said when the first time we were having a class discussion, it was a film class in a theater. And she was like, the first time she saw a black person, she wanted to go touch their skin to see how their skin felt.
Hopefully she didn't do that because
I don't know. I mean, she's on a college campus. I mean, I'm sure she can work it out somewhere. But
still, that doesn't always work well for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just goes to show that there's a lot of people who think that we are alien in some way.
Well, they like to touch the hair. I mean, they want to see it. They don't understand the hair. So, but maybe that's what happened with the police in Akron. But Akron has plenty of black folks, so there's no excuse for somebody to be terrified of a black person on the Akron Police Department just because you see somebody with that skin color.
But you should be terrified of an active gunman, a mass murderer
who's killed people, who had the intent of killing people.
Yeah, and you don't want to say stuff like this, but he looked like a murderer. I mean,
yeah, come on.
You don't want to say stuff like that.
No, just say he didn't have a professional look.
Yeah,
I mean, because he had tattoos
on
his
dude,
neck.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no, he looked like a murderer. And then I've seen his family and friends say they had no idea that he would do anything like that, but yet his social media pages had all the indication that he would do something like that.
The families need to be, because they knew.
Yeah.
They knew. There was an experience where law enforcement was called in, happened earlier, and it was about guns. And then his father helped him to purchase the gun that he would use to kill some folk. Now, you got to start looking at these families have to start saying something. It doesn't make any sense.
I guess, and we're not even going to start talking about gun control. I guess it's a wasted subject.
Well, speaking of gun control, we'll talk about stupid comments because Representative Debbie Lesko, Republican out of Arizona, who was on the floor of the House debating gun control, and she said what is perhaps the dumbest thing.
Maybe.
It's close. It's hard to find something.
Top 10 of all time.
Of all time? You talking about world history or American history?
At least American history. World history, if you think about it, but American history, I would say definitely maybe top 5.
It's definitely top 5. She said that the gun legislation would take people's guns away, and she was afraid, and she had a right. And when she said it's my right, she got angry.
Right. She started getting mad.
Right. Like God said I could have a gun.
Well, she believes that.
I know. On the 8th day, God created guns for Americans only. But she said that she would do anything to protect her 5 grandchildren, including shooting them to protect them.
We didn't make this up.
I know. Some folks gonna think we made it up.
Say, what's her name again?
Her name is Debbie Lesko from Arizona. All you got to do is look it up.
Republican. She said she is willing to shoot her grandkids
to protect them.
To protect them.
And I wish I was there. I have never wished to be a representative, but at that moment I wish I would, because I would have raised my hand. I don't know how it works there. I would have raised my hand and said, and that's the reason why we need gun control. Representative, we have to get them out of your hands because you're talking about killing children.
Yeah, I don't know what her logic was, because she really didn't really break it down where I could understand it.
How she didn't break it down. How could she break it? She said, okay, so her logic is I would shoot them to protect them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's
So I guess what she's meaning is somebody's breaking in the house. Oh, let me go shoot my grandbabies.
so. I guess no. The only thing.
What else is it?
Here's the only thing I can think of.
That's
The only
logical.
thing, no, and that she thought maybe someone would take them and make them slaves, and she like before they be slaves,
But she's
they be
white,
buried in. Okay, but still, that I'm trying to make sense of it.
Nah, I don't
I'm trying
think
to. Then why? I mean, because how could you protect them by shooting them? She's saying
she's protecting them. She's sacrificing them to Jesus.
I don't think so. I think she's saying she didn't want them to be slaves or something.
Nah, I think she's
I'm telling
protecting
you.
them. She doesn't want her grandkids to live in a world where you can't shoot grandkids.
So
This
in
is
order
real,
to protect
people.
them,
We did not make this up.
you're saying in order to protect them from a world where they don't have a God-given right to have guns, she would
Jesus.
shoot them?
Baby Jesus, right?
Nah, I think it's the slaves. I'm telling you.
Nah, I think
I know
she
she's
doesn't want them to
not
live
black.
in a world that you can't go around shooting grandkids. She loves her guns that much, and that's what I understand. Why? What's the big deal about guns? It's not like she ever killed anybody.
We don't know.
Well, I mean,
We
I
don't
would
know.
think that she's never killed anybody, and that's the only purpose for a gun. So I don't understand what the big deal about these guns are. I love my guns,
Well,
guns and
apparently,
Jesus, Jesus and guns.
She loves guns more than her grandchildren
Apparently.
because she ain't trying to lose her guns, but she's willing to lose her grandchildren.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I'm going with the slaves, folks. You all let us know in the comments which one you think is sacrifice to Jesus, but I don't get that. I mean, what is the sacrifice? Okay.
Because Jesus wants guns in America, and if you can't have a gun, then Jesus isn't happy.
Okay.
And this is their theory.
So, Jesus, are you looking something up?
I mean, maybe I'm thinking maybe we need to let these people hear this audio, because I'm sure there's people out here think that we're making this up.
Test us. This is real, people. Test
We
it.
give the real news.
You
here.
don't believe it? Test it. I know it sounds outrageous that no grandmother would say, I'd rather have guns than my grandchildren.
Yeah.
And in order to prove that,
Arizona is recognized for 2 minutes.
Listen to this, people.
Thank you, Representative Jordan. I rise in opposition to H.R. 2377. I have 5 grandchildren. I would do anything to protect my 5 grandchildren,
Anything.
including, as a last resort, shooting them if I had to protect the lives of my grandchildren. Democrat bills that we've heard this week
Told you.
want to take away
make
my
this up.
right. My
told
right
you.
to
My right!
my
She's
grandchildren.
mad now.
They want to take away the rights of law-abiding citizens to protect their own children and grandchildren and wives and brothers and sisters. This bill takes away due process from law-abiding
Fighting citizens.
Can you imagine if you had a disgruntled ex or somebody who hates you because of your political views, and they go to a judge and say, oh, this person is dangerous, and that judge would take away your guns.
Judge would come to your house.
Take away the guns.
Okay.
Without that person even having a knowledge that there was a
This and how this lady. We're not gonna listen to the rest. It's almost over, but I think you get the idea of how some people are thinking. These are people you elected.
You all, I didn't vote
elected.
for 'em, man.
We didn't.
Ain't no way I
We
voted
didn't
for
vote
her.
for 'em, but
She
they-
said in order to save them, she'll shoot them. So
Jimmy.
again, yes, Grandma. Hey, grandbaby's coming here. Yes,
Need
Grandma.
y'all to line up.
What's going on, Grandma?
Shortest to tallest.
What's going on? I'm saving your life. I'm saving you.
Stupid.
Come on.
But so that's what we're dealing with when we have to fight gun control. We had to. When you're fighting illogical people, irrational people, I mean, it's hard to win. They say don't argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who is who. I mean, that's what it seems like.
I wonder I wonder if she went back and listened to her like, oh, I messed up.
And what did she mean to say?
She did. Surely. She's like, I messed up. I left out a "the" in the sentence or something. I left out an
think
"it."
"the" would have made a difference.
I left out a "psych" in it. I mean, she should have let her speechwriters review it. But again, we've talked about it. When it happens, I want you all to remember, Chopping It Up the Cleavers, we were the first to say it, that people running for public office need to have a psych evaluation.
Yes.
So when it happens, when future generations are smarter than we are,
Hopefully,
and they require that, they're going to come back to Chopping It Up with the Cleavers and say, okay, they said that.
groundbreaking podcast.
They said that back in 22.
Yeah.
This is when they changed the law in 2052.
Hopefully, it'll be sooner.
Hey, but not if people like that are getting elected.
Yeah. I mean, she's an elected official, and she wants our help to protect her guns. She wants
so
Democrats
that
and
she
Republicans can step in.
Because she wants to be able to shoot her grandchildren when the time arises.
Man.
But, you know, hey, again, I'm going with the slave. That's the only thing that makes any sense.
I don't think that makes sense.
It does. Okay, you remember in the transatlantic slave trade where those captured slaves and Africans would jump overboard. Like, before I'm a slave, I'll be buried in my grave.
Yeah, but I don't think that she believes that her children or grandchildren are going to be slaves.
Maybe when the minorities take over, why do you think they want the guns?
Yeah, that's why they want the guns. I mean, that's definitely because they feel that, well, it's a fact that they will no longer be the majority. And I think 2040 something like that. Whites will no longer be the majority in America, and they're fighting for that. That's why they're trying to get rid of the abortion fight. You know, it's part of that.
Yeah, that is definitely a part of the whole thing. Because I heard one group saying there aren't, if you follow the abortion debate that goes back to the 1800s, one of the moves by the medical establishment to end abortion was because they were saying there weren't enough white children being born. And that's I think the logic that some still have. Of course, they'll say that you're killing babies.
No, I mean, I don't think they care about that because they'll kill them when they'll kill their grandkids. I mean, they believe in killing babies, but they believe in the death penalty.
What do you think her grandchildren said when they saw her again? Grandma's here, run, everybody. Yeah. Grandma. I mean, they're hiding. Yeah, her grandchildren are afraid of her now.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Psycho grandma.
She had said, I was just playing. I was just trying to make a point. No, but Grandma, what was your point?
We don't get it, Grandma.
That's because you're young. When you're older, you'll get it. But they're afraid of her. But that is insane. So, it'll be a while because of who's in office right now. I mean, we have to have some rational thinking people in office. Psychological evaluation. Every time you run, you have to do it over because you experience trauma on the job. And same with police.
Yeah.
I mean, regular psych evaluations.
Yeah. We need something because it seems like elected officials are becoming a little stupid.
Becoming. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, we can name.
Yeah,
we had to name the low IQ elected officials. I mean, we'd have to extend it beyond 5.
Yeah, it would have to be the low IQ group. I mean,
there's
elected
several
officials. Yeah,
and then there's some running.
Yeah, Herschel Walker, he's back in the news. You heard about
he's always in the news,
man,
because his own staff is saying they can't believe that he's a pathological liar.
His own staff says he's a pathological liar. His campaign manager says he's a pathological liar, but the campaign manager won't quit though.
No,
still works for him.
No,
because I guess he's a Republican, but I mean,
that's what it's about. Doesn't matter if you're the candidate.
That says a lot. That you know that you're the guy you're working for is a pathological liar, but yet you're still going to work for him, and you want other people to vote for him.
Yeah, that's crazy. But think about this. So Herschel Walker must have heard and read all the reports that a lot of his campaign staff believe that he's a pathological liar. And then he had staff meeting with him on Monday morning. I mean, what does that look like? Now, which one of y'all, or maybe he doesn't know what it means. I don't know.
He might not know what pathological means.
But he knows. He's read the report. Or unless they're saying, "Yo, no, that that's the liberal media making that up."
Yeah,
They didn't.
I'm sure they can trick him out pretty good.
Yeah.
No, Herschel, that wasn't me. That's the liberal media. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Liberal media, they got him. But we are seeing the division in this country. You can trick a lot of people. I mean, they got Donald Trump with a lot of things. But now with this trial, January 6th trial, we're learning these folk knew he was not well.
Yeah, they knew he wasn't
They
well.
knew he wasn't stable.
They said one thing in public and another thing behind when the mic was off. Even his daughter turned him in.
Because I think a lot of them thought, okay, if I stay on board, maybe I can get him to do some rational things. I mean, it's still going to be support the conservative agenda, but not crazy.
Man, he tried to jump and take the wheel from the Secret Service.
Man, and I know. Too bad. That's why I can't be Secret Service, because there would have been a little backhand. You grab the wheel. You grab the wheel while I'm driving. It's going to be... But they can't do that. I know.
Well, I mean, you could. You could. Yes, you can.
No, you can't. Not the Secret Service.
Yes, you can.
Nah.
Let me tell you why.
Okay,
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
I'm a Secret Serviceman.
Okay.
I struck the Donald Trump in his mouth to save him, to protect him from
You
himself.
have to do something. You have to cover him up.
He
You can't backhand him.
He was trying to stop. He was trying to take the wheel while we were moving, and my instinct was to slap him and get him in a chokehold. You can do that.
But you can't. I don't think
you can do that.
I bet you can.
Subdue him.
You can subdue
him.
If he was pushing forward, I can see you could subdue him. But your backhand, when you go and talk to the head of the Secret Service, okay,
reaching from behind.
No, you can't do. First of all, you took both hands off the wheel. You took both hands off the wheel, so I got a problem. But no, it would have been up to one of the other Secret Service agents to grab him.
They could have choked him easily.
You can't choke him. You can't choke him.
To subdue him.
You can't choke him, man.
All three of them, the Secret Service get together. Mr. Judge, he was going crazy. He was foaming at the mouth. And all three of them say that.
But they take an oath. Maybe they take their oath more serious.
No, maybe.
Where they have to protect it. And so that's why, I heard some reports, the Secret Service saying that never happened. Because it's called the Secret Service, not the public service. So they can't disclose what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, I think it happened.
Oh, yeah, come on. Yeah, it happened. I mean, but it just shows us how unstable he was. But it also shows all those people that knew. That's what this January 6th hearing is showing, that he had a whole bunch of people that knew that he was unstable, yet they were rioting. They were going right along, and at least, some of them tried to talk him out of the, going there and starting the riot.
Yeah, because if he would have gone there, I think they would have got Mike Pence and probably hung him up.
And Mike Pence thinks he's talking about running for president. Somebody, hey, Mike, you will never be president.
No.
You will never be.
No.
Because you got those on the extreme right who really dislike you.
Even though you did the right thing.
You did.
Mad
props.
Mad
props.
Other side is still not going to vote for you either.
Yeah, but got DeSantis. He's
Crazy.
acting like, yeah. I mean, that's the difference. I mean, he's extreme to the right, crazy, but I think he knows more what he's doing than Donnie did. But Donnie is a master at promoting self and convincing people of lies. But it just shows how the division in this country, I mean, it's only growing, because I'm sure some of you have heard that there have been protests after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and there was a group that was offering $200 for the location of conservative SCOTUS members. Now, we talked about the right and some of the craziness there. That's crazy too.
Yeah, the left,
that's crazy.
That's some crazy people as well. I mean, you're looking for Supreme Court members to
And then they showed up where Brett Kavanaugh was eating dinner, and they showed up. I mean, a lot of stuff can go down, even if you're going there peacefully. A lot of stuff can go down like you don't want it to, showing up at somebody's home.
Because you can't control the mob. All it takes is one person to get that mob crazy.
But I think they're thinking, okay, for some of them, it is that serious to show up at the home, to show up when they're eating, because they're like, they are completely denying the rights of more than half the citizens in this country.
Yeah.
So for them, it is that serious. I would just say, still, I understand the belief in that what the Supreme Court did is, can lead to a lot of major things. But showing up at somebody's home, that's risky. I mean, in a way, you're asking for some stuff, because I know if somebody showed up at my home protesting, it wouldn't. I mean,
if somebody shows them up at my home protesting, I'm gonna be online looking up every legal measure to make sure that I'm not going to prison.
Yeah, I mean, it's so, but it just shows that the division, and it's extreme. It's extreme to pay people to share the location of. It's only the conservative members of the Supreme Court.
Well, I mean, for now, until something else happens,
Right.
and then the liberal,
Then it'll be everybody
be targeted. So we don't. Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't either. Because if it happened the other way, then people on the left would be extremely upset that they're showing up, and elected officials, of course, I'm hoping they're not saying anything like that.
No,
I mean,
but then you never know.
We don't have a psych evaluation, so we don't. Who knows? But I think when you look at the left and right, there's a lot of division. But even within those parties, there's a fight between the extreme right and those moderately right, and then extreme left against those who are left, but moderate left. I mean, so there are all sorts of struggles going on right now. And a lot of it, some of it may be generational. I think at least on the left, a lot of it is generational. I had a conversation about that last weekend, and some from the younger generation is just like, the Democratic elected officials need to do something. They're not aggressive enough.
Yeah, and I understand that. There's a lot of division in this world right now. But I can agree with some of those younger people. I think the Democrats could be a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, I mean, because the Republicans definitely are. Some of them are. And at this time in our world history, I don't think the world has been more divided on its views than it is now. I mean, it's a lot of division.
Maybe going back as far as the Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a divided country.
Yeah, I'm talking about even the whole world.
World history. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a lot.
I mean, because.
Yeah, I think because of communication and travel, we know more about what's going on around the world.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And so that's what, that causes a lot of division. But even, when I was in Europe, I'm not going to name the country, some of the natural European citizens, we had a cab driver, he kept saying the government here in this country, they only care about foreigners. They don't care about people who were born and raised here. That happened in Europe. We saw that in Europe, and there were protests when we were there about the very issue. So it seems like, I think the big issue around the world is nationalism.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's happening. And, and if you're talking about nationalism in this country, I mean, ain't none of us indigenous except those that were wiped out, the Apache and the Navajo. I mean, I know there's some still around, but
yeah, there's a lot around.
But they were slaughtered.
Pretty much wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I told you, I think I said it in one of the episodes where I met a guy who said he didn't like that we called the indigenous people native because his parents and grandparents were from here.
Yeah.
You think he was white or black?
Of course, I know he was white.
I mean, that's just
native. My grandparents are from here. We're Americans.
Yeah.
And we love our guns.
We love, yeah. I went to the Royals game yesterday, Kansas City Royals, and seventh inning stretch. I stand up for the seventh inning stretch, and they play proud to be an American. I'm like, what? Come on, man. Thought we were doing the seventh inning stretch. But for some reason, that's a part of sporting events now. You got to do something with America, proud to be an American. And, of course, those people that really love, they start crying and sweating and spitting and all that. All that.
I heard saw some people online. They want Brittany Griner to stay there for 10 years because she doesn't love America.
For real? Who said? Come on.
People are saying that.
What did she say that
because when she was here, she was standing up for Black Lives Matter.
Oh, man, come on.
Yeah.
Please,
and that's un-American to them.
Yes. I don't understand. Standing up for American citizens is un-American?
If you go against the police, then I don't know. I'm just telling. I don't know. You want me to justify it? I can't. There's a group of people. When I was reading the article, I saw the comments, and they said they hope she stays over there since she hates America so much.
Man,
but, that's just ignorance.
Yeah, there's no shortage of that. All right, so in entertainment news,
switch it over. Well, I guess switch it over to entertainment.
Yeah, so we had an icon who passed away. James Caan, been in I don't know how many movies.
At least over 100.
Yeah, I mean all kind of TV shows, movies, and he was active. He still, if you look at IMDb, his coming out.
Yeah, there's a few movies coming out.
He remained active. So we thought on this show we would name our favorite James Caan movies. So I think I'm going first. Yeah. Number 5. I have an old one, 1971, Billy D. Williams and James Caan and Brian Song. So
I guess probably a lot of ours are going to be the same. I'm guessing.
Yeah, because
yeah.
Well, there was one I went back and forth on. I didn't put on there. Maybe you did, The Gambler. But I put Brian Song. So James Caan plays Brian Piccolo, who's dying of cancer. Billy D. Williams plays Gale Sayers, who's one of the great running backs. And they developed this friendship. There's an unlikely pair, a white man and a black man playing for the Chicago Bears. But what is interesting, they were the first, Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo were the first interracial roommates in NFL history. I mean, it kind of sounds ridiculous. I mean, that's a big deal, but they were. And just this unlikely pair and the friendship they had. So that's number 5. Number 4 is The Program.
The Program.
The Program is a football movie about a top-notch college football program. James Caan played the coach. Omar Epps was in it. Halle Berry, a bunch of other people. But it was just the lives and the struggles of being in the top-notch program and the pressure and all that comes with it.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. So that was number 4. Number 3, of course, I have to have Elf on there somewhere. So I have Elf. James Caan was Will Ferrell's father, his biological father in the movie Elf. And we've talked about Elf before. A hilarious movie.
Great comedy.
Hilarious movie. Will Ferrell. But yeah, James Caan is in it. It's a good movie. Check it out. So that's number 3. Number 2 is one of the great psychological, not a psychological thriller, but a thriller.
Well, yeah, I think it would be.
Could you consider? The movie Misery. The movie Misery, where James Caan is this writer and he goes off in this wilderness place, isolated, but he gets trapped, stuck in a snowstorm, gets hurt. And Kathy Bates, I forgot her character's name, but Kathy Bates nurses him. And she is a huge fan. Kathy Bates, she won an Oscar for that, and she should have.
Deserved it, yeah.
And she should have.
She was good.
She was.
Scary woman.
Man. But the way she flipped up and down, and then, of course, everybody remembers the ankle scene.
Yeah, that's the good.
That gave nightmares. But yeah, James Caan in that movie, a thriller. Of course, number one, the only thing, and at least in my book, that could be number one, was when he played Sonny Corleone in The Godfather.
Hot-headed.
Man,
Sonny
Sonny, if you
Corleone.
should have waited for the rest of the crew before you went to go save your sister, you were set up. Man, he was too hot-headed. If he had waited, he might have had some backup. But he got set up. He got set up and he died. But of course, he killed that role in that.
Yeah.
Just the way he was, he was hot-headed, but he was good.
Good
so
role.
Sonny in Godfather, number one.
All right, so mine is similar, but I have a few. I have one show. I mean, of course, there's the program that was good. Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Vanessa Williams was good. But I'm going to start off number 5 with Brian's Song. We talked about that great football movie in the 70s. We grew up as a kid watching that great movie, great story, great actors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure
People
a lot
that
of
needed
people
to be in
out
it.
there have seen that movie.
Yeah, if you're younger, check it out. Brian's Song. It's a true story.
So
based on
number
a true
4
story.
is going to be a little different. It's called The Good Neighbor.
Oh,
And
yeah.
This is a movie about there are 2 kids next door across the street, and they decide to spy on James Caan's character who lives alone and try to scare him, try to spook him. And they end up making the worst mistake of their life. If you haven't seen that movie, it's called The Good Neighbor. It's probably not as popular. Have you seen it?
A long time ago. I'm trying to recall it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen it. I've heard about it.
Yeah, you should watch it then. They're running an experiment, and when he leaves the house one day, they go inside and they set it up with all these devices trying to scare him, and James Caan's character is a little off, and they
Doesn't go well for him.
nah,
I'm gonna have to check it out.
It was a bad idea.
I'll have to check it out.
Bad idea. So that The Good Neighbor, that's number 4. Number 3, my top 3, I'm gonna have to say the top 3 movies that I named with him are 3 of the greatest movies of their genres of all time. You talked about him, Misery, number 3. I mean, that's one of the great movies, great
Yeah, it is.
storytellers. I mean, it's basically almost just 2 people in the whole movie.
Yeah.
But the acting is so great, the story is so good. I mean, you don't mind.
Has
Of
to
course,
be if
there
you
are
only
a
have 2 people.
few
Yeah.
other people, but I mean, the acting and was so great, and the story was good. Misery, it was a book by Stephen King, and then became a movie. So that's number 3. Number 2, one of the all-time great Christmas movies, one of the all-time great comedies, Elf. Just a funny movie. Will Ferrell plays a silly guy. James Caan is the straight man. Just the expressions that when he first finds out this dude is
Yeah, because it was a singer gram. He thought it was.
Yeah, it was
he
a
thought it was a
singer
singer gram
Yeah, it was-
for his birthday or for
everybody,
Christmas.
everyone in the
Yeah,
office
yeah.
did. Yeah.
And then so Will Ferrell sings. Yeah.
And
That was
it's
good.
good funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the part where that little short guy, I don't know what you call him, I think short person, he was giving that pitch to James Caan, and then Will Ferrell comes in there, oh, Elf, and it's like he said that one more time. Oh man, that's a funny
Yeah, it
movie
is.
if you
It
haven't
is.
seen it. Elf. Number 1, of course, one of the greatest movies of all time, Godfather. Just a great story, great acting, great cinematography. Just a great movie. And Sonny Corleone, hot-headed. He was going to be the Don, but
Santino.
didn't make it. Just couldn't.
He was the oldest son. He was supposed to.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the Don.
And then Fredo got skipped over.
yeah, Fredo. That's what Pops wanted. But that's not what I wanted.
I'm smart. I have
I can do
ideas.
things. Anyway, Godfather is number 1. Top 5 James Caan movies. Rest in peace. Thanks
Check
for
it
the
out.
memories.
Yeah, and I'm definitely check out the Neighbors
Yeah,
movie.
check out the good
sounds
neighbor.
good.
It
sounds
is
good. The good neighbor.
Good neighbor.
Yeah.
Check that out. You'll like it.
Okay. So that's our list. Let us know what you think. Favorite James Caan movies. Also, let us know what you think about Representative Debbie Lesko. Why did she say it?
Go watch that.
Watch
Please
it. Then
explain to us.
yes, if you understand what she was trying to explain that to us. Put it in our comments. I think it has to do with slavery. That's the best I can come up with. But check us out. Every Tuesday, we drop a new episode, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. Check us out most places you get your podcast.
Peace.
I'm on the money.